Once the seventh largest corporation in the United States, Enron wasn't just a company. It was a phenomenon. Lauded for innovation, complexity, and an unstoppable rise, Enron was considered the crown jewel of American capitalism. But behind the glowing headlines and rising stock charts was something far more sinister. A decade of deception, billions in fake profits, political connections, and ultimately the largest corporate bankruptcy the country had ever seen. This is the story of how Enron rose to a $60 billion valuation and fell into bankruptcy in just 24 days. This is Enron. Enron began as a modest natural gas pipeline company, but it quickly morphed into an energy trading empire. It was one of the first to transform energy into a commodity, something that could be bought and sold like stocks. With this innovation, Wall Street couldn't get enough. The company became a media darling. Its stock skyrocketed, doubling and tripling over a few short years. Analysts were obsessed. The company won America's Most Innovative Company from Fortune 6 years in a row. But the public never really understood how Enron made its money. That wasn't by accident. The illusion was carefully built, starting with Kenneth Lay, the founder. Lay grew up poor. His father was a Baptist preacher. But Lay had ambition and political savvy. He eventually became a key voice in the deregulation of energy markets, building strong ties with politicians, especially the Bush family. George W. Bush even nicknamed him Kenny Boy. Lay knew that with deregulation, he could turn energy into a gold mine. But Enron needed someone who could push the limits. Enter Jeffrey Skilling. Skilling joined Enron in the 90s and quickly rose to CEO. He was brilliant, charismatic, and ruthless. He brought a philosophy of survival of the fittest. His employees were ranked from 1 to 5. Every year, the bottom 10% were fired, no exceptions. The result? A toxic, ultra-competitive culture driven entirely by greed. But Skilling's most dangerous idea was introducing mark-to-market accounting. This allowed Enron to record projected future profits immediately, even if those profits never materialized. Imagine signing a 10-year contract worth $100 million. Most companies would report profits gradually, not Enron. They'd write the full $100 million as profit that day, even if the deal collapsed. This made Enron look like it was constantly making money. In reality, the company was bleeding cash. To cover their losses, Enron's CFO Andrew Fastow created shell companies, fake firms that took on Enron's debt and made the books look clean. One of these was called LJM. Fastow made millions personally from these off-the-books deals, and even got banks to go along with it. And Wall Street? It looked the other way. Analysts were too dazzled or too afraid to challenge Enron's numbers. Those who did lost access to the company. Enron also ventured into new, absurd areas. After launching a broadband division, it made a deal with Blockbuster to deliver streaming video. But the tech didn't work. Still, Enron booked tens of millions in fake profits from it. Then they started trading weather. Yes, weather. They sold futures on rain, sunshine, and temperature swings. Somehow, this landed them back on Fortune's most innovative list. One journalist, Bethany McLean from Fortune, finally asked, "How does Enron actually make money?" Skilling couldn't answer. He sent a team to meet her, including Fastow. After hours of vague explanations, Fastow reportedly said, "Just don't make us look bad." But cracks were forming. Enron began losing billions overseas, especially in India, where it built a massive power plant the locals couldn't afford to use. That didn't stop executives from booking phantom profits and paying themselves bonuses. As the truth crept closer, Enron turned its sights on California. After merging with Pacific Gas and Electric, Enron gained control of the state's power grid. Then, something strange happened. Rolling blackouts began to hit the state, even though there was more than enough electricity to meet demand. Why? Because Enron was manipulating the grid. Traders moved power out of the state to create fake shortages, then sold it back at higher prices. They even paid plants to shut down temporarily to spike prices. The people of California suffered. Businesses stalled. Lives were disrupted. But traders were heard on calls, laughing and celebrating their bonuses. When asked about regulations, Kenneth Lay responded, "I've got a bunch of smart people here. They'll figure out how to make money anyway." The fraud cost California over $30 billion. But the federal government, led by Lay's friend, George W. Bush, refused to step in. The state's governor was blamed and eventually replaced by someone seen as tougher, Arnold Schwarzenegger. In August 2001, Skilling suddenly resigned. Lay stepped back in. Soon after, whistleblower Sharon Watkins alerted Lay to the enormous fraud. At the same time, Enron's auditors at Arthur Andersen were busy shredding documents. By November, it was over. Enron's stock collapsed from over $90 to under $1. Employees lost their jobs, their savings, and their pensions. Executives, however, had cashed out early. Ken Lay made $300 million. Jeff Skilling walked away with $60 million. Fasto, the CFO, made over $40 million. Cliff Baxter, a former executive, took his own life before he could testify. Arthur Andersen was convicted of obstruction and dissolved, taking 29,000 jobs with it. Lay was convicted of fraud but died of a heart attack before sentencing. Skilling was sentenced to 24 years but served 12. He was released in 2019. And what happened next? Skilling is now quietly trying to return to the energy business, backed by some of the same people who once enabled Enron's rise. There's technically nothing stopping him. He's just barred from running public companies. Enron's old motto was, "Ask why." During its rise, no one did. Maybe now, it's time we do. Thanks for watching. If you found this story interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest scandals and forgotten histories in business. Let me know in the comments what topic you'd like to see next. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.